Hello, Kara from today's RDH here. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am joined by Jessica Atkinson, Shelley Brown, and unfortunately, we are missing Malia Lewis, but there she is. Collectively, these ladies are known as Hygiene Edge. Thank you so much for chatting with me today.
We are so happy to be here.
Yay.
We are so happy to be here, but we are also missing Malia. And just a plug, if you ever say yes to temp for a dental hygienist, please show up. Please.
It is a commitment. I appreciate that.
So Malia is working today.
Yeah, she is. Because you got to do what you got to do. Next video, we're gonna get her in. Before we get to chatting, I just want to say some things here. For the educators tuning in, have you ever wished there was a video for your students to watch outside of clinic, or even for you to show, in class, that they can refer to at any time on how to hold an instrument, show clock positions, or even which end of an explorer to use when exploring the mesial tooth number 9? Or as a student, new grad, or even completely seasoned hygienist, have you ever thought, I need a refresher on instrumentation or how to give a certain injection? If you had said yes to any of those things, have you heard of these lovely ladies and Hygiene Edge? I hope that answer is yes, because they probably have exactly what you are looking for and more. So I would like for you guys, for those who may have not heard of you, can you please introduce yourselves and tell me all the good things?
Yeah, who goes first here? Right? I'll go first. I'll tell the story. So Hygiene Edge, how did we start Hygiene Edge? So Malia, Jessica, and myself, we all worked at the same dental hygiene school with with our other buddy. She didn't work there. Her name was Candy. She originally started Hygiene Edge with us, but doesn't do it with us anymore. She's being a mom right now. But we got together and we were like, man, let's make some videos for our students, because we noticed that they would read in the textbook the material we wanted them to know, and then they would show up to clinic and we were like, what are you doing? What is happening here? And so there was a little disconnect between the classroom and what they were doing in clinic. And so we thought, well, let's make videos. And as we were discussing in the Noodles and Company, I have our original picture, this idea, I thought, you know what, we need to do this for all dental hygienists. I feel like there's so many out there. We could collaborate more, learn from each other. I feel like we're so, in our little bubble. And if we learned it in hygiene school, that's the only way to do it. And I thought, man, I feel like everybody's learning things a little bit different. And I would love to learn about all of the instruments and about what other hygienists are doing. And so that's how it began. What do you say, Jess?
That is how it began. It began out of necessity. When we were clinical educators in the clinical space, the students will just say, can you just show me what it looks like? Because reading something and seeing something are two different things. And I think we've seen that in the past few years with TikTok and Reels, and how much more effective a 30-second video can be than a 30-minute article. So we were finding that students really enjoyed seeing something be done and were able to replicate it much easier than reading it, applying it, and then replicating it. So it was really out of necessity. And one day we were standing in the dental materials lab. Both Malia and I were working in dental materials, and Shelley, Candy, and I originally started Hygiene Edge. And it was at that time super student focused. I had no idea at the time of the creation of Hygiene Edge what its reach could and would be. And I was really student focused. I think that's just because of where I was teaching in a dental hygiene clinic, and that's the audience I was with, and that's who I wanted to really improve. And then I was standing there in dental materials, and Malia came up and said, hi, I have some ideas. I would love to be involved in Hygiene Edge. And from that point forward, like Shelley said, we really caught a vision of this can be for anybody. And at the time, there was nothing on YouTube that, okay, I shouldn't say nothing. There was a video from Michigan State of a dentist showing area specific instrumentation with a teeny tiny instrument, the old, really skinny instruments. And he wasn't wearing gloves and he was showing instrumentation on some anterior teeth. That was what was available as far as videos that were free on YouTube. So as an educator, you either had to make your own or you had to buy packages for your students to have access to instrumentation videos. And these packages were not inexpensive packages. And as an educator, you have a lot of restrictions on how you spend money. And you also have a lot of restrictions on how you spend your time. Education will take as much as you give it. It's like laundry. There's always something else to do. And for full-time faculty to have an additional time commitment to make videos, for some programs, that's not a reality.
I agree with that. The thing is though, you saw a need and then you're like, we can fill this. We can do this. Let's just do it. I think that is just beautiful. Beautiful.
I think along the way too, we learned a lot of things, right, Jessica? We're in 7 years. And maybe when you started too, Kara, you probably noticed this, that you go back and you look at some of your first pieces of work and you're like, ooh, maybe I should change that or update that or do that different. But I think you have to start somewhere. Sometimes we have this idea and we're like, this would be so great. But sometimes like the doing is a hard part. So our first videos, we're like, let's just show up in the clinic. Let's just record a whole bunch of things and just throw them up on YouTube and see if it helps. So some of our original videos are just that. They're just like thrown up. Like we don't, like we're not paying
on an iPhone
to all the things that we're supposed to be paying attention to. But I still feel like they are videos that people can learn from, even if it might be something that they're like, we don't do it this way. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times in my class, I'll pull up a video and I'll be like, but the textbook says to do it this way. So I feel like all videos, no matter if they're recent or old, whoever is utilizing them needs to take that piece of information and decide what's going to be best for their own practice. But at least they got a great little start, to their information that they needed. So
our wonderful friend Malia always says, done is fun. And it's all about doing it. I had a number of people come and tell me, oh, I had an idea to do what you're doing. That was totally an idea that I had. And what happened for me is I had an idea, Shelley had an idea, Malia had an idea, Candy had an idea, and we did it because we were in each other's lives at a time that moved those ideas forward into the doing. So if you have a good idea, do it. And sometimes that doing requires someone else. I ran across a quote on the internet that it's anonymous, that really famous speaker, Anonymous. It says, I know, right? I would like to meet them. It says, life is about the people you meet and the things that you create with them. Go out and start creating. And I really felt that way with Hygiene Edge, because my idea originally was very, very small. And then with an addition of other people, that idea became something and was so much better and more impactful than anything I could have done alone and any idea that would have stayed in my brain.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I love that quote. So how long have you, because it's 2022, the last time I checked, how long have you been, how long has Hygiene Edge been a thing?
Our first meeting in the Noodles and Company was August 2014, because I had just had my second baby. So I remember bringing him along in his little car seat, and I was like, "This, we have to do this." When they first told me about it, I just laid there that night thinking, wow, this is a really great idea. I'm going to go in and tell them that we need to do them, put them on YouTube for everybody. And I was so excited. I remember bringing my little baby in and saying, this, we should do something a little different, not just for our students, but like for everybody.
Yeah. It was,
I love that.
so originally Shelley and Candy wanted to write a book to help dental hygienists. And then Candy and I met, and then Candy and Shelley and I met, and then Candy, Shelley, and Malia and I met. And from that, I think that is to allow your dream or your idea to be influenced, or I think, and allow there to be a change and a progression. And that's really why Hygiene Edge is what it is now, is because that collaboration made it better than it was as a standalone. One of our good friends, Amanda Hill, I think this is not her original quote. I think it's an original Brene Brown quote, but she says, "We're always learning, never knowing." And I think that's what Hygiene Edge really tapped into, is that whether or not you're a brand new student or you've been in hygiene for 20 years, there is something to learn. And like Shelley said, some of our first videos are honestly a little cringe. So any hygiene educators out there that want to do any calibration, go ahead and pull our videos, show your faculty and say, how would you help this student? Well, how would you verbalize this differently for your students? And really recognizing that at any time in your progression of learning, those things can be used for growth and don't have to be used for feeling stuck. Like, I mean, yeah.
I totally agree with that. You learn by doing. I mean, it's like, how did we all learn to scale? It was by doing, right? And practice and all of that. And so it's the same thing with this. It's same thing with even a lot of things. You learn by doing, and things move and sway, and different paths are taken. Things get tweaked, things get pivoted. There's failures. There's some things that are like, oh, when you see it later on, but you learn from that, right? It's funny mentioning Amanda Hill. Hey, Amanda. She also says, and I don't know if this is an original quote from her or not, but she also says, we can't be perfect, because if we are, and I'm paraphrasing, it'll make everyone else feel bad. And so it's like, you can't be. And so that's the thing, is like, and I'm like, oh, profound words right there, because she's right. Like, you just got to do it and try it, and then learn from what you do, which is what you guys did. And so I love that. What you guys do more than videos though. It's more than just YouTube. So I mean, you have TikTok, Pinterest, I believe, Facebook, Instagram, and then of course, but there's more than just videos. So tell me all the good things.
Oh, it's all the things. Anything we do, everything we do has an educational tone. So whether it be TikTok or a blog post or a conversation with someone like you, the intent is to provide resources for people to level up, to really improve, and also maybe broaden their horizon on what is really achievable as a dental hygienist. So all of those things really have the undercurrent of education. And while videos may be our bigger,
Your backbone.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. Our backbone, I think that everything else filters into that educational focus. So we also like to speak. We love to provide CE. And the three of us are dental hygiene educators. We all had worked at the same institution, but now we all work at different ones and the same. I'm going to come in sub at where Shelley works, and Malia and Shelley work together, but then Malia works at a different one. So we have a varied experience in education. So we like to speak in those avenues. And we also like to speak on a number of different topics for any type of hygienist, whether that be the latest and greatest AAP classifications. Shelley did her master's degree on that. And anything we've learned, we'd like to share.
And I love that. You share it. You just share it. You also have like quick guides and like note templates and things about coding. I mean, there's a lot of information you guys have put together and just shared. There's a lot.
Yeah. Well, as an educator, I noticed that we just like love to share. You know, we love to, anytime we share, we feel like it builds up our profession, which I feel like we need more of, because sometimes there's a lot of negativity, and people are looking for help a lot of the time. You know, like everybody expects me to be perfect. Well, I'm a new grad and I kind of feeling lost. And so having a positive resource that they can go to is, I think, really valuable as well. Or somebody coming back into the workforce for whatever reason, maybe they left for a few years for their health, or for a spouse, or for children having, coming back is also really scary too. So to have some great resources on, okay, what's the latest and the greatest, and to be kind of like, they'll binge watch Hygiene Edge and go through and learn a lot. And our goal has always been like, let's make our content as free as possible. So you'll see some ads in there on occasion, because you have to pay the bills to do these things, but our goal always was, we need to make it very accessible, and we need to make it, for everybody, something that everybody can learn from.
Yeah, well, because especially, I can't speak for everybody's finances, but especially when you're a student, I mean, it's like I'm eating top ramen here, and it's like you can't go and pay for these things like you guys were talking about. Yeah, school can't even pay sometimes, to get these resources, and so it's so. I think it is just so giving of you guys, and I know it's like, oh, it was filling a need. We needed it too, but like we've said that. We've chatted before this video, but you didn't have to share it with everybody. You didn't have to put together a website and continue to do it and update and do better and learn and all this. You didn't have to do any of that, but you did. I love it.
Yeah, I love too that it also, like Jessica said, the videos are the backbone, but as we're learning more and more and connecting and collaborating with more and more people, we get different interests here and there. And we're like, wow, I didn't even know that was a possibility or an option. And so that's why we've done a little more speaking and a little more recently methodology, because we love to teach educators. We have all this great experience. We're like, let's share with educators. Like if we can make education of the dental hygienist even better, like that just uplifts our whole profession, right?
Yeah.
So I just feel like it gives us a lot of other avenues to explore, or has given us. And so I really have appreciated that about our little business, is that we can do so many awesome things with it. It's unlimited, really.
Yeah. Well, and you listen to your audience, quite frankly, the audience. I know, kind of another buzzword, but you listen like, oh, do you guys have a video on blah, blah, blah? Oh, no, let's make one. That's huge. Listening to what the needs are too, on top of it. Fantastic. It's like the whole package.
We have a very long list of videos to make.
That you do.
If you mentioned it, it's on our list. I mean, I'm sure, Kira, like through your today's RDH, that you have a list of mile high as well. Seriously. So
yeah,
patient, they're coming.
Yeah. I mean, it takes time, and it's funny because it's like, I want things done now, and I want them actually done yesterday. And it's quality over quantity, even though that quantity and covering a comprehensive topic, a huge plethora of things is good, but it's like, you still it's like, whoa, we can only do so much at once. And so that's hard as a hygienist, like that perfectionist, trying to be like, okay, it's okay. we can do what we can do right now and then just keep chucking away, just chipping away at it.
And I love that you said we can only do so much at once. And hygiene school is only 2 years. It's only either, whether it's an associate program or a bachelor's program, it's roughly around 2 years, right? And you cannot learn everything you need to learn about being a dental hygienist in those 2 years. And you cannot expect that you're going to learn everything you need to learn in those 2 years. And so often we, as an educator, we have this long list of things that we need to make sure that we're covering in dental hygiene school to create a competent dental hygienist as they leave hygiene school, knowing that that long, exhaustive list is still just the tip of the iceberg. I remember in hygiene school where I went, I had a cassette, and I had a cassette with a Barnhart, a 6.7, a 204S, and a Montana Jack. That was my traditional cassette. And then I had some area specifics. Less than 10 instruments. Do you know how many instruments there are that are made for a dental hygienist? So many. And I have no heard of some of these things. I never had a hoe in dental hygiene school. I mean, I didn't even know. And now, like, the bogey is like my favorite hoe. Like, really. And that's something that I was introduced to much after hygiene school, but I didn't have any context on how to use it from a previous experience. And so to create videos from somebody who is not a marketer, is not trying to sell you a product, but is trying to show you how to use a certain type of product, really was something that resonated with the three of us. And we really wanted to show hygienists at large what is available to them that wasn't covered in 2 years of hygiene school, and also review what was covered in dental hygiene school. One of my favorite quotes is, "Repetition is the mother of retention." And it is through practicing and doing and seeing it multiple times is how you will retain those skills. And we only have 2 years of formal education.
Yeah. You can only, and that's why everyone throws out the term, lifelong learning. And it's like, okay, yeah. Lifelong learning. No, really, like there's a whole lot more to learn. Like CEs aren't just because your state is trying to make you do something, like things like that. Like, and even if you don't get CE for something, it's okay to still learn about it.
Yeah.
It's better for you and it's better for your patients. Like if you kind of have that knowledge that you're just willing to like take the time and do it. And it's like, for me with today's RDH, I can tell you about the newest product all day long. I can tell you about the newest research, all that. Like say it's a new sealant that's coming out or a sealant that you may have not heard of or something like that, and giving you kind of the background story on it. I can do that all day long. Am I going to do a video about how to actually use it? No.
But we will.
No. That's why it takes all of us. It takes all of us, because guess what? You will. You know what I mean? It takes everybody. It takes all of us, no matter where you're at in the hygiene profession. It takes all of us. And so, I think it goes back to what Shelley says, is lifting each other up is not just something you say. It's something you do. And the negativity issue, it's something that's happening, and hey, let's try and do things to like combat this. Anyways, you know what I'm saying. But it's all of those things, let's actually do that instead of just say that. And so, and I think you guys are a prime example of that. I really do. I'll argue it from the rooftops.
I think you also have created a place for people to come and learn and grow. And it starts with, I think about the negativity that happens and the struggles that RDHs have, especially if they're a lone hygienist in an office. And I did not realize going into dental hygiene how much I would know and be able to do, but then not be able to legally do. and that strange push and pull, and what that looks like in an office, and how am I being true to my own practice act and also maintaining a job and feeling alone and all of these things. And there can be a lot of negativity, and there is a lot of support also. So my recommendation, if you're finding yourself in that space where you're feeling drained by a situation that you might be in, there are so many dental professionals that are here to support you across the country to help you level up your own game, and recognize that meeting the standard of care and exceeding the standard of care is a process. So tomorrow, what can you do that's going to help make you feel that you are the kind of hygienist that you want to be? And that might be brushing up on how to use a sickle scaler. It might be adding a new technology into your practice. It might be having a critical conversation with your boss and saying, this is what my practice act says. This is what you're asking me to do. This is what you're asking the assistant to do. And along those lines, how can we work together to maintain a legal practice and also help us really practice at the height of our education? There's so much good and great and wonderful things happening. And when you're finding yourself in those negative spaces, call us. Text us, message us, look at some videos, find little ways that you can make your daily experience better. I call Shelley when I'm having a negative day. I call Malia.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you, everything you just said there. Thank you. I get, messages and emails from hygienists and things like that. I don't know it all. Goes back to the quote about can't be perfect because it makes everyone else feel bad. But it's like, I know who does though. And so I have sent a ton of people your way. Oh, hey, Hygiene Edge has a video on this, and I'll give them the link and I'll be like, but look at everything else too. And so, but that's the point, is there are people who will help, who can help. Because I certainly can't help everybody with certain things. Like, no, I can't, but I know who does. And so, and I think that's the big thing, is even just reaching out to somebody, even if they can't directly help, or you can't find the direct help, just asking and seeing if you could at least get directed to, because there are a lot of people willing to help and who are helping. Yeah. Even if it's using a sickle scaler.
Right. There's space for everybody. That's always been our mantra for a long time, because we see other people doing such great things, like you, Kara, all the people start, having an idea and starting it. And we always say to ourselves, that is great. There is space for everybody, because not one person can just do it. We need everybody to do all your ideas and to collaborate and to be kind and support each other and the profession.
And as an educator, I can say something to Kara as a student, and she will be like, I don't really understand what you're saying. But then Shelley can say essentially the same thing, and Kara will go, why hasn't anyone ever told me that before? And we need everybody to share their experience, always striving to better our profession. And I that's why I love what you do. And I mean, I can come to you for a funny meme if I need to just be like, that happens and that's funny. And I can come to you for the latest and greatest research on a number of products or something weird. Like, like there's something weird that happened in my office, and I don't know, have anyone else had this experience? And I can look it up and I'm like, oh, today's RDH has an article about it. Thank you, Crystal Spring.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's one, and I do like how you point out how it takes multiple voices, even if it's the same thing. And I don't want to really talk about today's RDH here too much, but it's like we might have 15, 20, 25 articles on things you should ask at an interview, or tips for temping. But you know what? They're all different authors. And so when, but they'll ask, oh, I really want to write about this, but I know I saw an article that you already have. It wasn't written by you. It wasn't written by you. Have at it. Like, you have a different point of view, a different voice, and you might change a word around that makes it make sense to even one person out there. That matters. So it takes, again, it's just full circle of supporting each other, and it takes everybody. And people need to hear things from different people said in different ways to help them.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think, is there anything else you guys want? I want to make sure that you say, so hygieneedge.com, give me all the things, give me all the places.
Hygieneedge.com. We have a lot of our videos on there categorized for you. And then we also blog on there. So anytime we create a new video, we write a little blurb about it, and we try to keep them always really short. That's really important to us, especially in this day and age. We don't have a lot of time, and we're mobile, we're mobile learning. So our videos are less, we try to keep them around a minute. Same with our little blog posts, really short and sweet, little tidbits of information that you can put in your little pockets in there. Malia does a lot of running of our Instagram, and she is always posting great clinical tips on there. Usually those coincide with our videos that have just come out, but she does post a lot of other great things there too. We just started a TikTok not too long ago during the COVID season when everybody was TikTok crazy. So we have a few things on there. And then just YouTube, that's where we have all of the videos. So on YouTube, you can go to our channel and search for anything that you want, or look at our library there and see all the things.
We have a little shop. Don't forget the little shop.
Oh yeah, tell them about the shop.
Ooh, do
I'll
tell.
about a little shop. So I, in hygiene school, was taught the 1989 classifications, or whatever year that was. Anyway, but transferring from that type of diagnosis into the AAP classifications of 2018 has been a process and a paradigm shift, and I needed help. And Shelley created my personal favorite diagram on how to categorize your patients when you get all of their assessment information. So our AAP classification chart is on our shop. We have a coding chart on our shop. We have Spanish for the dental hygienist if you have somebody that has periodontal disease on our shop. We have a number of different things on our shop that, as a new grad especially, or an older person who's like, I didn't learn this, I need to transfer to this. It's a quick source. It's a really good resource. And all of our stuff on our shop is really affordable. It's either free or it's under, like, what's our most expensive thing?
$10, but most
$10.
of them are $1. Like the little, I love quick reference guides in private practice. I was always like, I forgot it in school, what I learned in school, or like, I need to give this injection. How much am I going to give this 100-pound teenager? Like, look really quick. So I was like, everybody needs these reference guides. So that's what we have on there. Just a lot of quick reference guides that help you in your practice, make things a little smoother. Oh, what have you got there?
I have a sticker that I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that I had.
Yeah,
we also have stickers.
We have stickers.
A Hygiene Edge sticker.
Yeah, we got stickers.
That's like the only physical product we have on there, because we don't love shipping, but we love shipping you a sticker.
Yeah,
but
we would,
otherwise,
if you want it, we'd love to ship it to you.
Yeah.
I thank you. I am so glad you guys chatted today, because again, it's like what I said at the beginning. I was very adamant. I had to say all that. Is that if you have not heard of these ladies, to anybody tuning in, and Hygiene Edge as a whole, please, please, please check them out, because you never know. There might be something on there that gives you an aha moment, or something you can brush up on, something that's like, oh, this would really actually help. This would actually make me more efficient, like charts, right? Charts. I love charts. Things like that. I just want to tell everybody. So,
or inspire you to create your own something.
Oh, that too. It takes time and energy, but it's possible. It's possible. So, thank you. Thank you so much. I am so sad that we're missing Malia, but we can always have a chat again. And we probably will, but everybody, please check out Hygiene Edge. What these ladies have done is phenomenal. For the better word that awesome. That's a better word. That's what I use. So check them out. Check them out. So thank you for taking the time today. Thank you. And I want to just thank everybody for tuning in. I appreciate the privilege of everybody's time. May all your patients floss.